Cloud Peak Wilderness in the Bighorn Mountains of Wyoming. Last summer I did this spectacular hike. The views, the mountaintops, they were amazing. However, I underestimated the trail and I really struggled on this hike. From altitude to just the general planning for the trip. So I'm going to go back here soon to Cloud Peak Wilderness and do the same hike. However, I think I have a better plan for doing it this year. Every summer about this time, I get an itch to go on a long backpacking trip. However, here in Minnesota this time of year, it can get very hot, very humid, and a lot of bugs. So I don't really care for that. So I look to go out west where it's drier, and when you get up to altitude, it can be cooler. So it is about a 12-hour drive from Minneapolis, St. Paul, out to South Dakota and out to Wyoming. You know, I'm going to go through Mitchell, I'm going to go through the Black Hills, through Sturgis, and out to a town called Buffalo, Wyoming. And this is the last real town before I hit the Hunter Trailhead. So I'm going to load up with good food, whether that be Subway or a burger or something, and really fill up my stomach and get lots of fluids there. So in Cloud Peak Wilderness, what I'm doing is I'm going to be hiking the Solitude Trail. The Solitude Trail is 55 miles in a loop. However, it's about 6.5 miles from Hunter Trailhead into the loop. So everything kind of averages here. My Gaia route tells me that it's just a hair over 70 miles. So on that first day, I'll show you on the map here. I'm going to be hiking in, and I'm going to be doing that little tail coming off the loop. And I learned last year that this ditch trail that is on my Gaia isn't actually there. So much of this is on like a forest road, and then I meet up with the trail, keep on hiking into the split. The last time and this time I'm choosing to go counterclockwise. So I will take a right at the intersection, and I will head north. You can see if I zoom way in on Gaia here that, you know, you can see the lines here where it's 9,400 feet. And as I keep on going, it's up to 98. It gets over 10,400, 10,600. And then I start coming down a little bit to Elk Lake. Now, the trail isn't right next to Elk Lake. And when I walked by it last year, the trail is actually quite a bit off of the lake. But I think if I get up actually a little bit away from the trail, there are some trees where I can hopefully hang my hammock. If not, what I'll keep on doing is I'll keep on hiking. And if I go up a mile or two, you can see that I dip down back into, say, 9,600 feet. That I will be crossing over at Elk Creek where I could camp. Otherwise, I can just keep on going. Worst case scenario, I can keep on going up to Willow Park Reserve, which I know has some trees and some nice camping spots. So I'll camp out there for the night. And then on day 2, you can see here from my spreadsheet, I'll be hiking from maybe 11, maybe 15 if I have to keep on hiking there. And I'm going to go up to point 35 on the hike. That is near Coffeen Creek Campground. And this is going to be a hard day of hiking. This first half of the loop, I should say, is kind of the part that is least interesting, with being above Alpine and seeing the mountains. But I'm going to keep on hiking through the woods here. I will go up through an area called Highland Park. I believe the highest point on the trail here is in this area. No, I guess it's a little later on, but it is a high point. You can see from my elevation profile here that there are 4 major peaks that I will be climbing, and this is the second of those peaks. So I'm going to keep on going, cross over the Cross Creek Reservoir trail line, and I will get up to the very northwest corner of the loop, which is about 35 miles in, and I'll have a choice to make. Am I going to go north to Coffee Creek Park Campground? So this is a rustic campground. I think it has a pit toilet, probably has some picnic tables, but there isn't a well there or anything, but there is a creek going next to it where I can grab water and filter. If I'm feeling good though, instead of making that 0.8 mile out of the way to the campground, I may just start going south on the Solitude Loop till I get to the intersection of Duncan Lake Trail. This again is probably a 0.3 mile, 0.5 mile hike into Duncan Lake where there should be trees to hang. So day 3, I'm going to be leaving either Coffee Creek or Duncan Lake, and I'm going to be hiking 17 miles. So a little bit shorter day here. But I am going to be passing through Geneva Lake, a beautiful lake. I camped on the south edge of this lake last year in a good little camping spot where I think I could lay a hammock or hang a hammock if I needed to. But coming out of Lake Geneva, I'm going to be climbing up Geneva Pass and going by Crystal Lake. And I'm going to keep on going down past Robin Lake. Going to keep on going past some other lakes that don't have labels on them here. And I'm going to be coming down, keep on going. It's kind of a long southerly hike. I do remember this was a very enjoyable part of the hike last year. So eventually I'm going to get down to the very south west corner of the loop, and I'm going to start heading east again. And heading east, I'm going to come to Solitude Lake, which I remember both the first half of this hike and down by Solitude Lake. If I look at my videos from last time, there were actually a lot of mosquitoes. So I'm definitely bringing mosquito spray in this time. And when I hike all the way to the end of Solitude Lake, last year I remember there were a bunch of cowboys with their horses camped out down here. So that is where I'm planning to camp for the night. It should be nice. There should be trees there for hanging a hammock. And I should be able to see a nice sunset to the west over Solitude Lake. So the next day I'm going to be getting up. I'm going to be hiking. I'm going to hold back on purpose here where I'm only going 10 miles. I say I'm holding back on purpose. That's all good in theory, but if you've watched my hikes before, when I get out, I may be in a rush for no reason and just keep on hiking. So I'm going to be hiking east here. I'm going to get eventually down to Misty Moon Lake. It is a beautiful lake. I am above tree line here. And a very important thing to note here is from Misty Moon Lake, 4 miles east to Florence Lake, it is a poop-free zone. So what that means is if you poop in this area, there's no human refuse allowed. So you need to bring a wag bag and pack your poop out with you. It's a very delicate area, I guess, a lot of high traffic. So it's there for a reason. However, I am not bringing a wag bag. It's only 4 miles. I don't poop that often. So I'm going to be hiking through Misty Moon Lake along the Solitude Loop Trail, climbing up to Florence Lake, which is beautiful. However, last year, I realized that this lake, this is actually the high point of the trip, where I am almost at 11,000 feet. So if you're up at 11,000 feet, if you're above 10,000 feet, usually you're above tree line and there's no place to hang a hammock. And not only that, last year I had a tent. However, there was no good tent pads there. And as I started hiking south down from the mountain, a huge thunderstorm rolled in, snuck up on me, and it got pretty hairy. 40-mile-per-hour winds, super slippery, trying to get down from elevation. So I'm going to keep on hiking. The trail starts to get a little bit easier a few miles past this, and there's actually a spot, there's two spots here where I'm going to be passing over North Clear Creek. And I do remember last year where I actually had to stop and unload, if you want to say that. And it was a beautiful place. It had a nice freezing cold creek, nice flat area, some big cleared out area, and some trees for hanging a hammock. So that's why I'm planning to only go 8 miles. However, if on that day I'm putting a higher priority into getting back to my car, getting back to a burger and pizza versus just relaxing and just enjoying nature, I may keep on hiking, and that would be an 18-mile day. But if I do camp at North Clear Creek, I'm going to be camping out and hiking out that next day, and it's only an 8-mile hike, and probably 5 miles of that is on a trail. So if you look on my spreadsheet here, you can see my meals, where the first day I'm not packing food for breakfast or lunch, and it is a very light dinner, probably some Doritos, beef sticks that first night, because I'm still going to be full from that big meal before I start hiking. Then typical affair for the next 3 days, and then after that last day, I'm not going to have any food. Because if I'm hiking out 8 miles, I'm starting at probably 5:36 in the morning. I should be back out to my car by 9:30, 9 o'clock. Then I can drive in and get a breakfast on my way home, where I do plan to drive that full 12 hours if I do camp out that fourth night and get an early start driving home that day. So that's my hike. One of the things that I struggled with on this hike last year is I didn't bring any Diamox, which is the pill that I usually take when I go to altitude. That really affected me. And I'm doing my navigation this time as well as I did last time with Gaia. And one of the things that I struggle with in Gaia is that you can't tell how far you have hiked. You can insert mileage markers, just little blue dots, or I don't trust them from using them in the past. So you can see here on my Gaia that I do have some points along the trail, different mileage areas. So I hope to have a better idea while I'm hiking using Gaia of my mileage and not get disheartened when last year I thought that it took me 12 hours to hike 17 miles, and actually I went 21 miles. So that should be good. But a hammock this time instead of a tent. I'm bringing a different backpack, but I'm not going to get into gear for this hike. I'm going to have a separate video coming out next week where I'm going to show you everything that I'm packing for this trip. And I'm going to cover on that, what the elevations are again, what I expect the temperatures to be, which affect what my gear will be, and we'll go through that piece by piece. So thank you for watching the planning for this trip. Like I said, this is a beautiful area. I probably wouldn't go back to this area with how badly I struggled last year if it wasn't so beautiful and I didn't have a better plan for backpacking it this year. Hey, if you like this video, go ahead and hit subscribe, punch that bell notification, and do me a favor, check back in. Next week it'll have all the gear that I'm using. And then the following week I will have my video of hiking this trail which should be spectacular. It should have some drama, and it should be a fun video. We will see you out on the trail.